Real quick, I forgot to go over this with you guys. This is the traditional labels dies that come with the suite. So, and then you also get this stamp set that comes with the suite. So remember, you get 2 stamp sets, 2 dies with this. And this one has, you know, kind of everyday traditional labels for the holidays. But you could also use it outside of holiday. That's just for you. That could be for birthday or anything. You have wishes. Sending love and joy, just so cheer, to, from. So it has some great basics. And then these are the dies. So, and I had shown you in the catalog, these are definitely dies that you can use for anything, everyday use. So not just the holidays. And when I was talking about using these little, the labels, these folded frame and ephemera pack, you could just cut out, if you don't want to get that extra piece, you could just cut out your frames and, you know, use them instead of these pieces. They're a little bit thicker, but you know, it would totally work. See, that would look really cute there, and even, you know, here and there. So all you would do is you would just layer the you can layer the dies to get the middle parts cut. So like this and this could be layered, or this, actually probably this and this, which is what I did there. So this could cut out the middle, and then you have that cute little cutout there. This one and this one could cut out the middle, and you have that little swoopy cutout. So just some ideas for you to try, and if you get the suite, this is a great suite to get. If you sign up as a consultant in October, you could get this suite as part of your $180 in product. So if you sign up for the $90 sign up, then you get $180 in product credit that you can purchase at the same time. And this is, I think, $135. So this would be a great suite to get. And then especially as you're headed into the holidays, it'll give you a lot of mileage because you can use this throughout the year, these dies and some of these labels. And then the other set that you get is the greenery. And again, you could use this leaf throughout the year. You could use the for the dies. You could even like this little bouquet or the ribbon. Those, you know, don't have to necessarily be the holidays or Christmas. And then like that ribbon and this leaf would be a great set to have. And then this gorgeous paper, again, you can use the back side. It's not still holiday. And you'll notice, like, even my layout here, this is not Christmas. You can use this, it's December days. So just like your, if you've heard of December daily, you know, people keep track of everything they do, what they do for the whole month of December. And you can totally incorporate that idea into this layout. It, like I said, does not have to be Christmas. So this is just going to be like what you did during the month of December. Anyway, so I will pause for now and we'll get started on the right hand side. Hello. Okay, so we are going to stamp on the background paper. So just a reminder, so we're going to stamp the images here, and then also on the pretty in pink paper. And then I'm going to do similar on the other page. So the stamp set is Christmas Greenery, and is part of your Sweet bundle if you were to get the Traditions of Christmas bundle. So just a reminder what this all looks like. I showed you in the catalog, but here's kind of a close-up so you can see. So you get all these stamps, and you get these dies. So, and like I said, you could totally reuse like this die or the bow, and the leaf one would be a good one to reuse. So lots of multiple uses with this stamp set. If you don't want to get the suite, you can certainly buy the bundle separate, or just the dies of the stamp separate. So I am in the middle of a move, and I must have really packed my blocks very well because I can't find them. So I am using, this is a block from one of the kits. If you've never gotten a kit from Stampin' Up! Before, if it has a stamp set in there, you get this block with every every kit. So the kits are designed so that everything is in there. You just grab a box and go. I did a Beautiful Blues video, so take a look at that, and that's actually the one that I stole this block from. For an idea as to what you all get with a kit. I like to put like scratch paper behind as I'm stamping, because you'll see me stamping off, but I am on a glass mat, so I can easily wipe it off as well. So what I'm going to do, because I'm just kind of doing partial, I'm not too worried about not having a big block, because I'm only going to do like partial, and I'm going to stamp off in the corners and down the edge. So here we go. And you'll see how I do this. And this isn't like the first time I had to do something like this. I was at a retreat and forgot my blocks, and used the bottom of a wine stem instead. So, you know, you can make do with whatever you got. And this is going to be like I'm doing 5 sets, 6 including the main one that I did for myself. So this is for other people, other consultants, to show their customers what you can all do. So I'm going to try and be as neat as possible with this. Actually, I'm going to try and go up just a little bit higher. And like this part, this is going to get covered with paper, so I'm not too worried about that. And this one is not, so I'm going to press down on it just to make sure it adheres. I'll press down on that one too, just to get it on there. I've even seen people using like the stamp case, putting it on the stamp case and just stamping with it, doing that, because, you know, when you're at these retreats and you don't have all your tools necessarily, you use what you got. So again, I'm going to push down on that. And the nice thing is, since I'm stamping first and I haven't done anything, if I really don't like it, I can just flip it and use the back side and redo it. But look, see, it's still, and this is going to get covered with paper, so I'm not worried about my splotch there. So I'm just going to kind of do around the side here. Press it down. So I don't know if you've ever gone through a big move and it's like chaos. It's so funny. I came across my boxes. I was looking at all the boxes. I labeled some of them so much detail, you know, exactly what's in there down to every little piece. And I cannot find the one that has these blocks. It's so weird. I don't know what box these went in. It's just kind of frustrating. But anyway, I did order some more. I needed some more anyways, so for classes and stuff. So I did order the bundle. There is a block bundle that Stampin' Up! Has, and you get like I think it's 10% discount when you buy the bundle, and you get, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shapes, sizes, I should say, and it's really a good deal. So the ones that you get in the kit, these are a little thinner. The ones that you get in that bundle they're thicker, so a little more substantial too. Okay. Oh, I'm not going to close it because I have to do the other page. So let's get that one going. I am going to clean this though before I stamp on the other page here. So this is Stampin' Up! Has a chamois that you can use for cleaning, or they also have like this stamp, I don't know what you call it, I guess like a stamp cleaner, I guess. And you would spray one side with the cleaner. This is really good, especially if you're using like stays on ink, or if you're using, you know, like another Versamark ink or something that is really much more permanent that's not a water-based ink like the colors are. So because it really gets your stamp pretty clean. And then, so you have a wet side, you spray that side, and then you have a dry side to dry it with. And then I also use the chamois. Sometimes all I have is the chamois, and you can just clean it with that one, especially on the water-based inks. And I like the chamois when I'm, like if I get like a splotch on the block or something, I just wipe it. I can also wipe my fingers with it or hands, so. All right, so now we're going to do this page. So this page, I'll show you. We're just going to stamp in the 4 corners, and then a little bit kind of off this way and off that way. And then this is a different stamp that I'm going to use for that middle part. Okay. Oops. Okay, my paper's not staying, but I'll get it on there. There we go. Okay. So, okay, so we're going to do one in this corner. So I am actually working in my new house, and this room is going to be my craft room. It's actually supposed to be an office, and I am converting it to a craft room. So I had Closet Factory come out, do measurements, give me a quote. Through Costco, because if you follow me, you know I used to work at Costco, and then I just recently retired this year. So with Costco, if you use those services, like the ones as you exiting the building, if you use any of those, you get a 10% shop card back for whatever you purchase. So it's really a good deal. So plugging my former company that I work for. But anyways, so they came out, they gave me a quote, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get this room built with all the custom shelving and everything that's going to go in. This is a very small room. It's about half the size of the room that I had in my previous home. This is our retirement home and hopefully forever home, because after this move, I do not want to move ever again. And this house is about half the size overall, and like I said, the scrapbook room is about half. Actually, I don't even think it's half. It might be a third of what I had before. But I'm having these custom closet cabinets put in, and I'm going to have like a kind of a built-in desk. I'm going to have 2 built-in desks and like a little return pull-out shelf next to the 2 built-in desks. And then it's just going to really help me get organized, hopefully. And there's hope for that. And then I can get everything in here. The ceilings in this house are huge. Like, I don't know, I think they're like 12 feet high or something. They seem so big. And so I am going up with the shelving. It's going all the way to the ceiling. And then they have this little rolling ladder, like for if you had a library, imagine those library things. I am under 5 feet. I'm 4'8.5". And I said I'm going to need that little rolling ladder thing. So I am having that added so I can reach stuff up high. And I'll put probably like my albums and extra stuff like that up high. And maybe I'll have some open shelving, but mostly it's going to have the doors on the shelving so that, you know, it just looks nice and neat. Because this room has it's double doors, and it has glass doors, and it's like right when you walk in, like you walk in the front door, and then like there's a little hallway, and then there's this room. So this is like one of the first things people are going to see when they come through to my house. And so it's going to have to be kept neat and tidy, because it's not like before I could just shut the door and just don't let people see it. This, yeah, I can shut the door, but it has glass doors, so it's not really going to hide too much. So it was important that it looks nice and neat, and that's partly why I'm putting in the doors on the cabinetry too, because can be a little messy sometimes. So there we go. I love the Stampin' Up! Stamps. They are just so crisp And then the ink too is very juicy, so you can get really good impressions, as you can see, without having to press really hard or inking it up quite a bit. This is the polymer stamps, and they just announced they're going to no longer have the cling, which is the red rubber that stamps. So they will go 100% polymer, and I'm really excited about that. That Close to My Heart did that several years ago. I was gradually getting used to some of the cling, because I do think you get some really good detail on some of that cling, more so than probably the polymer. But the polymer is getting better and better, just the industry in general. So I think, they're going to be able to still get some of those really nice details on their stamps. So anyway, so there we go. And some of this, again, is going to get covered with paper. So look at that. It's all nice and crisp. I'm going to do that middle stamp right here. That's this one. Because in front of it, one of the dies that you get when you get this stamp, if you get the bundle with the die, you can cut out from the paper ephemera. And that is what, I'll show you here. That's what this is. It's the ephemera. And then this is the leafy die. So you're just barely going to see that little stamped image peeking through. So, clean this up. And normally I would just use a different block and I wouldn't have to stop. But like I said, I can't find my blocks. So crazy. I looked through every box that said desk stuff because I thought it has to be one of these, and it isn't. So I have a feeling I put them in a, Close to My Heart had like a little case for all the blocks. It's like a black little case. And I know I put them in there. I just can't find that case. And to me, logically, I'm like, well, if I had it, I would have put it like in like one of my rolling carts or something. But it's just not there. So we're going to make do with what we got. I'm sure I'll find it eventually. I wouldn't have got tossed or anything like that. So it will show up probably once I get my room built and I start putting everything away. Anyway, so, okay. And this will get covered with that paper and ink and stuff, so I'm not worried about that. So there we go, voila. Okay, so I'm gonna pause, I'm gonna wash my hands, and I'll be back. Okay, so next step is we're going to add a little bit of Pretty in Pink to just kind of highlight some of the areas on the pages. So I'm gonna just use my blending brush, and I do this a lot. I use a blending brush all the time, constantly, practically on everything I do. So so we're just gonna kind of highlight certain spots, and remember, when you do this, if you feel like it's too dark, just kind of go off either on your scratch paper or your glass mat to just get it a little bit lighter. And we're going to cover a lot of this up with other paper, so don't worry too much about the blending brush. So that's partly why I kind of start in the middle, where I know for sure I'm going to cover it with paper, and just to kind of get that rolling blending look to it. And then I'll just kind of start here, just so I don't get this really dark color. I don't want it to be dark. I mean, Pretty in Pink is pretty light anyway, so it would be pretty hard to get really dark, but just kind of get, like, see, that's like a smudge. I wouldn't like that on my layout, but like I said, it's going to get covered up. So we're just going to do certain areas. So this is the left page, and then the right page, we're going to do kind of a little bit bigger splotch. And this one's going to be a little harder to make sure you have it in an area that's covered. So I kind of went off and did it on the scratch paper. But I did put quite a generous amount on my sample page in this lower left-hand corner. So, and I did make it kind of darker as well. So And then I don't think I mentioned previously the ink we used, this dark ink, that was Secret Sea. It's not black. If you don't have Secret Sea though, go ahead and use black. That would work. But Secret Sea is just kind of a really deep blue. It's so pretty. This is one of my favorite colors, the in colors that came out. So you're just kind of letting it flow to kind of draw the eye. And then this one, because I'm covering a lot with that paper, I just kind of want to hit some spotlights basically. Okay, so we got that step done. And then the next thing we'll do is we're going to sand the embossed pink, pretty in pink paper. So I'm going to put this page aside and grab my sanding block. Okay, so I went ahead and embossed this with the wreath that this suite comes with, and I'm going to go ahead and sand it now. And because the embossing wreath is 6 inches wide, I cut my paper into, actually, I'm going to flip this over, it's on the metric side, I didn't realize that till this now. So I cut the paper into, let's see, it's 6 by 8, and then 4 by 8. And I'll show you on the paper here. I covered up the seams with the various paper on top, so you can't tell that that's not one big piece of paper. Anyway, so I'm just going to take an old sander that I happen to have and just kind of lightly sand. This is two-tone cardstock. It's pretty in pink, and so two-tone, you have a light and a dark side, and so I did the light side throughout this layout. So the darker side is the actual true color, and then the light is just this lighter pigmentation of it. I like the really pale side because I think that picks up the pink that's in some of the DSP, the designer series paper that is in this suite. So anyway, so I'm just, with the two-tone paper, you can have a white core, and that's why I'm sanding this, because I'm bringing out that white, the white core. And we could just leave it like that. I think that looks kind of cool. Let's make it stand out. But I did ink it with the old olive, just to kind of get a little more, well, one thing, this is leaves, so it's going to get the green in there. And also just to bring out, you know, make it a little bit more Christmassy, traditional Christmassy colors. So that's why I did the green, but you could certainly just leave it with the white showing through, or not sand it at all, or use even because I used the light side, you could use the pretty in pink in the dark, because the ink is the true darker color. So if you use a blending brush and did the pretty in pink color, that would, if you want to make it stand out a little bit more with just pink. So, but I did the old olive, so that's what I'm going to use for this. And grab that. So this is the old olive ink. Sometimes these ink pads kind of stick, so they say you could use like rub chapstick along the rail to help make it glide better. But anyways, I'll just when I'm I would normally use I use blending brushes by color, so like I'll have, you know, a rainbow color, so I'll usually use green for all my greens and blues for all my blues. But I like I said, I'm in the middle of moving, stuff is packed up, so I'm just going to use the blue, the kind of a teal one that I had, and I just was rubbing it to make sure there's no leftover ink on there. When you're using the blending brush, I recommend picking up the ink on the corners, because most likely that's where the bulk of your ink pad hasn't been used much. So it's just kind of a way of trying to wear your ink pad, because you're more likely to like stamp in the middle. So Anyway, so I was just rubbing off because Old Olive is a pretty strong green. I don't want it to look really, really strong. So I'm just kind of rubbing off some of the color. And then I'm just going to lightly go over where I sanded in this Old Olive color on top of the Pretty in Pink. So it just kind of brings out, you know, the leaf pattern that's on there, and just kind of get that green in there. So, I don't know about you, but it sure seems like the holidays are coming up fast. Everything is going fast for me this year. Things just flew by. Okay. So you can just see how I'm doing it. I'm just lightly rubbing it in. And I'm not going to keep filming. I'll pause so you don't have to keep watching me doing this, but you get the gist. And then I did the same on some of the Pretty in Pink ephemera that I cut out. So you'll see that coming up. I just won't bore you watching me doing this, but anyway, so that will be next. Okay, so now comes the fun part. We are going to start assembling. So just so you know, when you take a class with me, I put everything in these plastic bags and everything will be pre-cut, and then you would take stuff out as I go through step by step, like I'm doing here in the video. And you'll do the stamping, you'll do the embossing. Sometimes I might have the embossing done ahead of time, but you definitely have to do the stamping. And then we start assembling. So this is basically what it's like when you do a card class with me. So anyway, we're going to start with the left page. So I'm going to take out what I need for that. I'm actually going to clean up my area a minute so we don't get any ink on the pages. Okay, so put this here. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll put my sample page to the right so you can see it. And then I'll put the left off to the side, or the right, I mean, off to the side, so you can follow. Let's see if we can get all this in here. Looks like it. Yeah, cool. All right, so this is, we're going to duplicate this. You can see I ended up stamping here and here, which I didn't do originally. I just, to tell you the truth, it was a little bit of an accident, but I actually kind of like it, so that's what all of these are going to be. And then I'll just kind of go in and stamp that later. I just realized I did not cut my Secret Sea Blue, so I'm going to pause 1 second and grab that. Okay, so I'm going to measure this so you can see. So this is, let's see, 10 1/4 by, looks like 8 1/4. So 10 1/4 by 8 1/4. Okay. Put that over here. So when I cut it, all the paper is 12 by 12. I'm using the two-tone cardstock for everything. So it's 12 by 12. So I'm going to go to 8 1/4 here. That's scrap paper, and then 10 1/4 right here. And then what I'm going to do, because you just really see that little bit of a border on there, so I'm going to do, I tend to do a 1-inch border just because it's easier to adjust. So we're going to go out 1 inch, and I'm going to start at 1 inch here. Go down, and because it was 10 1/4, we're going to go to 9 1/4 here. I'm going to leave that there, and I'm actually going to do the other side. So since I already have my marker right here, it makes it easy. Go to the 1, and then go out to 1 here, and go into the line. And it's okay if it's not exact because you're going to cover a lot of it up. This is mostly to kind of save this is, you're making a frame, and it's to save the paper that is in the middle, so you could use that for something else later on. Or you could use it for the picture placeholders. But it's really good to do that when you are working with DSP, Designer Series paper, and you don't have that much of it. So that just kind of saves you paper, and I'm frugal. So, okay, so we got that cut, and now I'm going to pull out the other pieces in here. So remember, this is 6 by 8 and 4 by 8. Oh, sorry, yeah, 4 by 8. So together, this is just gonna be like, it'll look like one kind of sheet here. And it's my lighting in here. I noticed like this left side looks darker, but that really is the lighter side of the paper, because if I flip it, you can see that's a lot darker. So anyway, so it's just gonna be slightly there. So that's all that you're gonna see of the blue. Okay, so we're not gonna glue that down yet though, because we want to do the border top pieces first, and then we'll do that. I just wanted to make sure that I got the measurement right here. So actually I'll just put it behind here to the side. Okay, so these are, so we're gonna start with the green, the olive green, and it's the lighter side that's showing. So remember, you have a light and dark. So this is the darker, which is the true color, and then you have the lighter. So we're gonna start with that. That gets attached. And you could just use your type runner, whatever your favorite adhesive is that you want to use. And that's going to go across the bottom. So we have that there. I just got done swimming at my, the place we moved to has a pool, indoor pool, and so it was the first time we went swimming there tonight. It was really nice to be able to just do that, relax. So anyway, but my ear is plugged with water, so it's kind of frustrating. Okay, so this is, oh, I should have told you. So this is, I think it's like a half an inch was the old olive, and then this is the DSP. This is 1 inch by 12. They're both 12. So 1 inch by 12 and half an inch for the old olive. Okay, and then this is a 1/4 of an inch. So 1/4 of an inch of the other DSP. That is all so pretty. It's all the gold with the red poinsettia. I love this paper. It's so pretty and elegant. When I use adhesives, it might drive you crazy that I kind of do like a skip thing, run skip thing. And that's my frugalness, number one. You're not using so much adhesive all along the edge, but it's also because it makes it easy if you make a mistake and you need to readjust and lift up. So, like I just did. Because I'm doing that, I do that a lot, okay? So then you have another 1/4 of an inch. That's just of the same, of that solid red poinsettia with the gold across the top. So, and I love this paper because you have the gold on one side, and then you have a more neutral background on the other. So you could totally use this non-holiday time frame. Okay, and then we're gonna get that right in there. And it just kind of gives it that little, I don't know, like a little frame, little pop of gold and jewel. It's kind of like, you know, putting a necklace on. So, okay, so we did that. Now we're going to do the blue Secret Sea with the embossed Pretty in Pink. So I'm going to get that kind of right up in here. Just line it up. Okay, so first I'm going to lay the secret C down. So you can see it's just like almost like resting right across that DSP here. And it's about, it's kind of equal, so it's about 1 inch over on each side. Yeah, 1 inch, okay. So we're gonna flip it over because we want the dark side up in this case. So the dark side is the true color, and then the back side is the lighter. So the nice thing about this layout that I did is it's pretty easy for newbies as far as being able to line up everything. You don't have to, you can kind of eyeball things. You don't have to worry about where to put everything because it's right there. And like I showed you, you know, I made mistakes with some of the stamping, but you're gonna cover that up with paper or an embellishment or something like that. So it's really easy. Don't get flustered or if you make a mistake or you think you make a mistake, because really there's no mistakes. The mistake is just an excuse to be able to embellish. So it's when you are attaching embossed paper, you want to use a lot of glue. In fact, I normally would probably use the green combo glue, because embossed paper, because it has that bumps and ridges in it, doesn't stick as well. So you have to really, really, really cover it up with glue. So and then we're gonna put this one here. So I'm not stingy when it comes to gluing, when it comes to the embossed paper. You really want that to stick. Let me know what your favorite adhesive is. I love the running, like this kind, that's the running kind. Stampin' Up! Does have one as well. I get a little frustrated with it sometimes. It gets, I think I just am not, maybe because I do the skipping, so that could be why it doesn't quite snap for me. So I just gotta play with it some more. But anyway, okay, so we did that. Next, we're gonna do the letters. So December. Oh, I forgot to rough them up with the, and go over the green with the blending brush. So we have C, M, E, and now I need my D. There it is. Okay, so we're going to do that real quick. I can show you. I'll show you on the D, so you can see. It's the same as what we did with the pink. We're just going to rough it up, and because it is two-tone and it is has that white core, you can see the cool white popping through. And in this case, I did the so I did the reverse, because before we had the pink paper with the green old olive ink. This time we have the old olive paper, and we're going to do pretty in pink. So I'm just going to do this real quick. So I'll probably speed through this. go. So I just did it really lightly, like we did with the old olive ink when we did that one. Goes this way. And just to kind of give it that little bit of pop and to kind of do the coordinating with the pink. So I got that. It's D-C-M-E. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then I need my red. So the reds I didn't emboss, nor did I do the inking on it, because I was trying to really, I love this red, I just was trying to get that red just to really pop. And I think by doing this, it really does kind of get it to go. And I like to kind of place things just to see, so you can see I'm over too far on the right. One thing I would kind of do when you have a title of any kind, really, start with your middle. So so you have 4 letters here, you have 4 letters here. So your middle is in between these two, right? So you're going to start with these being, and then here's the, I'll line this up here. Okay, so here's the 6-inch, because it's 12 by 12 paper. So here's the 6-inch, that's my middle. So I kind of want that to be lined up like that. So we're going to start with that. And you can see I did, I popped the greens and not the reds. And that was so I could tuck the reds in. And I used dimensionals to pop it, which I thought I had grabbed some, but I'll just grab another one. Okay. Okay. I love dimensionals. Okay, so we're going to start with the green and the M in the green, because that's the bigger letter for one thing, but also then I can tuck the red in on the left side. Okay, so we're going to just, now remember what I said, when you do embossing, you need to use a lot more adhesive, no matter whatever adhesive you're using. So in this case, these dimensionals, you really want to add quite a few, not just like 1 or 2, but I did want to leave some empty space there to maneuver and tuck things in. So we're going to start with the M, and then we can make sure that all the other letters fit by starting in the middle. Okay, so I'm trying to look at my line a little bit, and because the M is a little bit fatter than some of the other letters, I am going to actually go slightly over that 6 and to the left. So, and it's going to kind of overlap onto this paper. So, and then this is going to go like this. Okay. So the red, I'm just using my regular adhesive. You could use, whatever you like, of course. I'm just kind of that way. And then we're going to put this. So that way. And another trick, like if you are using a lot of dimensionals but you don't want to stick it somewhere, like maybe it's over where you're going to put a photo and you don't have your photo yet, just leave the adhesive part on there. You can always remove it when you are ready to do your photo. That way you still have the dimensional and you're good to go. There we go. That way, and then And the red is the cherry cobbler, and it is the dark side, which is the true color that we have for the letters. And this is the alphabet that is in the bundle with the banner, to do like a birthday banner or celebration, you know, when you want to do those banners. This is the alphabet that you got with that bundle. I love those banners. I use them a lot. And I love the letters because they're perfect for titles like this. So if you want to make an investment in the letters and then also the shape, the banner shape, I highly recommend getting that bundle. It is in the annual catalog, so it will be available at least until the end of the catalog cycle, which is the end of April. So it's available then, until then at least. And I suspect that it'll probably get renewed into the next one as well. So highly recommend getting that. It's a good investment. You'll use those banners a lot. You'll use the letters a lot. And when you do a bundle again, you get a discount, 10% savings. So it's really a good deal. The month of October, Stampin' Up! Has an awesome promotion for if you want to be a consultant. Oh, I just too busy talking, wasn't paying attention. I mean, dimensionals on the E. Anyway, the promotion for $35, you can sign up for $35, and then you get to pick $125 in product of your choice. For $35. It's kind of like a no-brainer. And then if you, when you sign up in October, you have 3 months to meet your quota, so to speak. And your first 3 months doesn't count. So really you have 6 months to purchase $300 worth of product at any time. So 6 months, you know, that could be $50 a month, if that's what you choose to do, and you get a 20% discount. So it's really, like I said, almost like a no-brainer to sign up. And even if you want to just be a hobbyist, because, you know, you could just to get the discount. To be honest, that's how I first signed up with Close to My Heart. Was the person I bought a lot from her. And she kept telling me, oh, you should be a consultant. I'm like, no, I didn't want to do it. I just want to play with my stuff. And she's like, I know, but how can you pass up this? It was like a really super great deal that they were running, kind of similar. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it just for the discount. And that was, let's see, 24 years ago. So I went from Close to My Heart to Stampin' Up! But it's still, you know, I'm still part of the same community, and I love it. And you don't have to do classes, you don't have to do what I do, but if you end up liking it, it's, you know, it's a great fun thing to do, get together with your friends. And then the other special is you could also do, spend, I think it's $90 or $95, so I have to double check on that. I think it's 90. So it's $90, and then you can get $180 worth of product. So either way, it's like 50% off of whatever you choose to get. And it's just a great deal. And you have 6 months before you have to meet your minimum to stay in. So for 6 months, you get 20% off, or if you advance to Bronze Elite, then you can get 25% off of your product. But and then if you get to Silver, or if you get to Silver Elite, then it jumps up even higher. So it's I'm actually Silver. I'm not Silver Elite. You get to be Silver if you have somebody under you. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to drop back to Bronze Elite because the person that I had under me dropped. So, but you know, if I get somebody under me again, then I just go back up right away. So if you are interested, if this is something you're interested in doing, and you want to do this as a hobbyist, or you just want to do it for the discount, or maybe you want to do it to make money from it. So either way, I have an awesome upline and who is one of the top earners, and she's great, very helpful. So if you want to be like one of the top earners, you know, I can help you get there, she can help you get there, and it's just kind of a really fun thing to do. I would love to have somebody join under me who really wants to get together and do these kind of crafty things. And I just, you know, I would love to support you, and you know, you could support me, and it would just be a blast. So if you are interested, let me know. I'd love to talk to you about it some more. There is a seminar tomorrow that they're having, but that when this airs, it actually might be too late. So, but if you are interested, just let me know, and we'll get you hooked up. Okay, so what I did here is these are the photo placeholders, and I cut these at 4x3. These are 4x3, and I think this is 4x4. Yeah. So this is Secret C, and you can use that part that you cut out to do the frame. You can use that, some of that, to make these little photo placeholders. So just remember, when you cut your picture, you will need to cut like just a, it depends on how wide of a border you want, but you could just do a 1/4 inch to just have like a little 1/8 of an inch showing, or you could do 1/2 inch off each end and to have like a 1/4 of an inch showing. So whatever you prefer once you have your pictures. So we are almost done with this page. Okay, so I just kind of placed that there. I didn't glue it yet because we're gonna play around a little bit with all these little gold pieces. So these are from the frame, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. It is this Foiled Frames and Labels ephemera pack. So I just cut some of these in half, and that's how I came up with these shapes. Anyway, so we're gonna use that there, and this one here. And they might be just slightly different, you know, depending on if you're doing a class with me, if, you know, what I have available, but it is going to be, you know, a similar thing. You're going to have like a little gold outline frame one way or another. So, so for instance, like this one is different from that, but it's just still going to look cute and work. So there we go. I like to place my stuff first, just before I glue everything down, make sure I have everything where I want it. Okay, so, and then this is gonna get a dimensional. In fact, I'll put that on now, so I don't forget. I just won't remove the backing yet. Okay, so that'll go there. And then this will go here. And oh, that fits in right in there. That's cute, huh? Okay, so there. And what am I missing? Oh, I'm missing days. Darn, I didn't cut that out. Okay, I'm gonna pause 1 minute and I will be right back. Okay, so we are going to stamp days onto this pool party, and it's the lighter side of the pool party cardstock, the two-tone, and then we're gonna attach it to the cherry cobbler, the dark side. And I think I may have said the wrong color red that I was using here. It is cherry cobbler, and it's the dark side of that. So I'm gonna push this aside for a minute. Oh, and then we're gonna use the blending brush and blend the pretty in pink behind the word days. So let me get my stuff here together. Okay, so I'm just going to use the blending brush here, the pretty in pink. Just kind of make sure I get some good coverage there. I didn't want to use the cherry cobbler or the real red because then it would be pretty dark. So that's why I'm doing the pretty in pink. And then for days, I am using this set. It is Happy Place. And this was a $1 million stamp set. And what that is if you're a consultant and you reach $1 million in sales, you get to work with their design team and come up with a stamp set that honors you and what you know, what your you know, what you really love about Stampin' Up. And in this case, it's I can't remember her name, but this just came out in this catalog, and she wanted to do kind of a tropical theme for happy. And then you have lots of sayings in here. So you have retirement, or place, life, days. That's when we're going to be using times, birthday for you, and hey y'all. So she's from this house. So it's just really cool. And this happy with the tropical look, it is stunning when you stamp on it. Anyways, I just love this stamp set. I had to grab it because, of course, I retired this year and I love tropical. So I think I'll get a lot of use out of this set. And it is just a stamp set. There's no dies to coordinate with it. I think it's $22, so it's fairly inexpensive. And you have a lot of sayings here. It'd be great for cards, but also for scrapbooking. So, you know, happy place, happy life, happy retirement, happy days, happy time. So you have all those things that would be a great title. Even hey y'all would be a good title. You know, happy birthday, of course. And then, you know, you could even do for life, or just whatever, you know, some of these words you could put with other stamp sets, kind of like what we're doing here. So it's just a great stamp set to get. I'll be using it a lot, and I think you know, you would use it a lot because, like I said, you could use it for scrapbooking or card making. Okay, so I got my cherry cobbler stamp, ink, I should say, and I put days on the block, and then we used that pretty in pink blending brush right there. So some of these darker inks are really juicy, so you don't want to press too hard or it's just going to become like a splotch. So just kind of press it down. This is a cling stamp, so that's with the red rubber, and these are the ones that they're going to stop actually making. So if you like that stamp set, get it while you can, because it is just in the this fall catalog, so it's only until December, and then after that it's just while supplies last. So could be a possibility that could get marked down after that. Who knows? It could go to last chance, but it did just come out, so I kind of doubt it. But anyways, I'm gonna stick this back in my set. Okay. But just when I thought it was all done with ink. Okay. Put that aside. Okay. And then I'm gonna grab back. These are going to be for the second page, so I'm going to put that off the side there, and I'm just going to glue that down. There we go. I love this pool party color. Well, you can tell because I have it in a lot of things. Even the walls, I'm going to have the walls painted in here, and it's going to be not quite that color, but it's pretty darn close. So it's called, it's called Rainwater or something like that from Sherwin-Williams. So it's a really pretty soft green. Okay, so we got that good. Okay, so now let's get our page back here. Okay. So this is going to go here. We're going to pop that up, but this is going to go here. That's going to go there. And then we're going to do this cluster. So, because that's going to help hide that seam. So here's the, just so you get a close up here, this is the cluster we're going to create. So let's move it over. Oops, put that up there. I'll need that. Okay. So what we're going to do is just kind of place your pieces kind of where you want them, and then we're going to trim them. Trim it off here. So just going to kind of place it and then get it there, and then we trim. So we're just going to kind place it like that, and then place it here. So we're gonna turn it off like that a little bit. And then I'm just going to trim that off. Okay, I'm actually going to trim around the bow because I can probably save that bow for something else. So there we go. Okay, and then we're just going to kind of get this, oops, this way. Like that, and then this is just going to kind of tie it together. So and we just do a bit here, and that'll kind of raise this up just a tad. There we go, like that. And I'm going to just trim that a little bit here. Okay, so there's the cluster. Oh, I did use the blending brush on the old olive and just kind of went into like the leaves a little bit just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension. So place that there, and then we're going to use dimensionals for that to pop it. So, the gold frame pieces that I used, you could also use the labels and more dies instead, and I'll show you what I mean by that, how to do that. I'm just gonna get this on here first. Okay, so let's glue these the photo holders quick. Okay, I'm gonna get this kind of closer up there. And we're gonna glue this down. So if we were in a class, I would just have you pull these pieces out and glue it. Then you're gonna stick this right kind of like there. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just where, you know, just to have a little bit of outline. And then we're gonna glue this one down. So this is the Secret Sea. It almost looks black. And I love this accent, this color, because it's a great neutral, like a really deep navy. And so the two-tone is almost like the back is almost like a grayish, just like this is almost a blackish. So it's pretty cool. Again, we are gluing this on top of embossed paper, which embossed paper doesn't stick very well. So you want to really make sure you have quite a bit of glue here. And we're going to just kind of overlap. So it just goes over that little line. And you have some overlap there. Try not to put glue there because you want to slide your picture in there. And then we're going to stick this down. So I'm going to remove the paper backing from the dimensionals. And again, because I want my picture, I got to place my picture here. I want to make sure that my dimensionals are not on the photo background there. So I want to be able to slide that in there. So I'm just going to kind of slightly put it over. Actually, I'm going to take that off. Sometimes what I'll do, if I'm not real sure to get it centered right, I just put the dimensional down first, and then I put the paper over, because I kind of do want it to overlap a little bit, but I want to make sure that I can slide my picture in there. So just like that. Okay, and then this piece is going to kind of sit down. So I don't want to remove this paper, this sticky part here, because I want to kind of put that on top. So I'm only going to remove the sticky part here, in here, at least until I get my photo in there. Once I get my photo in, then I might, you know, put it in there. But for now, I want to be able to stick my photo in there. So we're just going to lightly put it there. And now see, I can put my photo right there. Okay, so there's that. And then we're going to glue this piece in here. So get some adhesive on that. And then you're just going to kind of, and it could be any of the shapes. You may not have this exact shape like I showed on my other, on the example. It's a slightly different shape because there's only so many to go around in that pack. So we're just going to kind of stick that there and there. And then this little circle kind of goes right here. So move that down just a little bit. No, that's fine. Okay. So there it goes there. And let's get this piece down. Move this up a little bit. Okay. And you don't want to put dimensionals on this because this is going to be your journal. So you want to be able to write on it. So just leave it flat. And I used some Memories and More stack to cut from, to cut and get this line from it. And I used my Stylish Shapes because I use that a lot. And to get that little square shape. So I'll show you in 1 second. Just going to get that glued down. So that there. And this is just going to slide right there. Just kind of a little accent piece. So it looks like a tag. And then we want to do, so this is from the dies. So I'm going to do a little glue on here. So I'm going to put the glue on the lighter side so that the dark side is what's coming up. This is the Cherry Cobbler. Okay, probably the green glue would be the best to use for this, but I'm trying to get this done. So we do that there, and this here. It's a little cluster, and then I'm going to put dimensionals on the holly leaves. So actually, I'm going to trim these. Sometimes if the dimensionals aren't quite the right size, you can just trim them. There are mini dimensionals too from Stampin' Up, which I love those for these kind of purposes. I just don't have it handy, so we're using what I got. Can't wait to get my room in order and get it all done. It's just going to be so nice. I'm actually going to have room in here for at least 2 other people. I'm putting in a total of 3. Well, there'll be this desk that I have, which is like an up-down desk, and then there'll be two more desks put in, and they will also have like a little return, like a little pull-out next to the desk. So I could, in theory, even have 4 people in this room. So, and then if I have anything bigger than that, I can go to the dining table, because I'm going to get, don't have it yet, but I'm going to get a dining table that seats 8 to 10 people. So that is going to be kind of so much fun to be able to have people at my house again. I used to do that. I used to have like up to 12 people at my house, and we would do parties. It was the 4 Ds. It was dinner, dessert, and drinks, and Debbie. So we would just, I would serve dinner, and we would have, because it was always after work, and a lot of people were coming from like Costco or wherever that I worked with, and we you know, I'd have them come right after work, so everybody was hungry, so I'd have a quick dinner, usually like something in the crock pot that had been cooking, and then and we'd have wine or alcohol or non-alcohol too, and then it was just kind of a fun get together, and that is what I'm going to bring back and do again. I kind of stopped when COVID hit, and then you know, we were in the middle of selling the house and moving and all that jazz, but this house is going to have room to do that kind of stuff, even though it's a small house. The dining area, kitchen area is really nice and big, so I'm so excited. I can't wait to get that going again. I'll probably start in January. I might do like a soft launch in December, like a small class, and then January we're gonna roll with it, because I love to entertain, and I love to have people over and do what I love, which is crafting. So I think it's gonna be so much fun. All right, so this page is done except for the gems, and we'll do the gems for both pages at the same time. I kind of like to do that at the very end, because then you can use them to kind of hide any flaws, or just kind of, it helps to make it cohesive to the two pages together. But this is basically done, other than dressing it up with the jewelry. Okay, so next page. Hello, so I am back. So now we are going to do the right page, the right hand side. So just a little refresher here. This page is the left. It's more detailed oriented. And now we're going to do the coordinating right page. Of course, these can both be just separate if you prefer to just do single pages. I designed them that way purposely, so that you could use it for any occasion, really. And this this page is, I'm using the template from the Christmas mini catalog that came out, this one here. And the template that I'm using can be found, oh, there it is, on page 14. So I'm using this here as a base for the template. And then one other thing that I'm using here on this page is the Memories and More card pack, and I'm using it on my journaling. So this winter is warmer when we're together. And then I also I forgot to mention it when I did the left page, I used it here. And I like to use the Memories and More cards that you get for lots of things, really, but I like to use it for journaling or for title ideas. And this shows a really good picture of what the fronts all look like, but it doesn't really show the backs so much. And these backs are pretty neutral. You can use like the grid for journaling if you want, or you can cut out like the title into different shapes, or use it as is. So I use Memories and More cards all the time in my scrapbooking. These are they're usually, in fact, I think almost always 4x6, and this is, geez, let's see, 3x4, sorry. So they're kind of standard pocket memory sizes. So you could just use them as is. But like I said, I do like to use my dies, and especially the Stylish Shapes die. I use this a lot throughout. If you watch any of my videos, I am using this probably 90% of the time on every single thing I do, whether it's a card or layouts. So I use this all the time. And this is in the annual catalog, so it will be available at least until end of April. Highly recommend. This is a really good basic set. I think it's around 30 bucks, because you have circles, you have squares, and you have these little shapes. So I use this a lot. Okay, so I'll put that's my little plug for this particular page. Okay, so let's get busy in creating the right-hand page. Okay, put this up so I have that as a reference. And in the previous video, I showed how I did the stamping and the blending brush for the base for this. And we are using the traditional Christmas paper, which is kind of featured on the front of the catalog as well. And it is also, let me see if I can find it. Let's see, that's the scrapbook green. So this catalog, I love this mini catalog. There's so many beautiful things. Like, I wanted everything. Anyway, so this is the suite, and that's what I'm using throughout. So the suite is $138.75, but you will get a lot of use out of all these parts and pieces with the stamps and the dies and the embossing folder and the ribbon, and you have that little gems. So anyways, I'm gonna put that back and get busy. So I cut out all the parts and pieces, and I just kind of want to, I like to lay everything out before I glue anything, just to make sure it's going to work the way I think it is. So I deliberately stamped these a little high because I knew I was going to cover up with the DSP Designer Series paper. And I'm just going to kind of lay this down. This is Old Olive, and I'm using the lighter side. The darker side is the true color. And for the most part, I used the lighter side on everything except for Secrecy, because I wanted that dark blue. Okay, so then we're just gonna, because we want to echo what we did on the left page, and actually I just realized it might be easier if I put the example here on the right a little bit. And scooch this over so you can kind of see it better. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to do that there. This will go here. And when you do a class with me in person, I do pre-cut everything out for you, so we can just do all the fun stuff and you don't have to do all the cutting. So so that's kind of the advantage of doing a class with me. I'm just going to kind of lay this out. And then this is, I use the backs. This is the pretty front, but I'm using the back because I'm trying to make it a little more neutral, because this is what you're going to use for either journaling spots or pictures. We're going to kind of move that down, just kind of place it there. And then, so this is cut at 1/4 inch by 12, this DSP here. This is 1 inch by 12, and this is the Old Olive is 1/2 inch by 12. So you have the measurements, and then these squares are all 3 by 3. So, and I'm just going to kind of place this so I know. This is from that pack. That is the this pack here, which is Foiled Frames and Labels. Like I said in the previous, when I did the other page, you could certainly cut out using gold foil paper, and then using the die that you would get with the suite. I think that would look really pretty. In fact, the labels die, so let me grab that so I can show you again real quick. So this is the traditional labels die that comes with the suite, and then you have all these. So you could totally use the gold foil and then cut out white as well for the background. So however you want to do it, if you don't want to get that extra piece. So okay, so we did that. I still need to stamp that, obviously. We're gonna put this kind of here. I might scooch this over just a little bit. I think I don't have it quite in the middle. Just kind of eyeballing it. And there we go. Plus I want to get that piece showing behind it. Okay. So there. There. Okay. I'm going to move this over so I can line it up better on my map. Make sure that I have it centered. Okay, so there's that. This will kind of go behind it. Probably like that. And we'll do this one here. So this is from the Stylish Shapes. And this is from the Stylish Shapes as well. I'm going to cut this in half. In fact, I can just do it right now. I think I want it going like this way. So, and I did, this is two-tone cardstock. It's the Pretty in Pink color. and I ran it through the folder that you get with the wreath folder, and then lightly colored it with, well, sanded it and then lightly colored it with the Old Olive ink. So this again, this is the Stylish Shapes piece, the die, and as you can see, I use that piece a lot because you can really get a lot of good use out of it. And it looks like I am missing this other pink one, so I'm gonna grab that. Okay, so I cut out my missing piece, and now we're going to start assembling. So this is from the DSP, and it is 1/4 inch by 12. And I'm just gonna put my adhesive on there. You can use whatever adhesive you prefer. I tend to use the tape runners just because they're faster, and especially on the videos. But the green Tombow glue is also really good to use, especially on the embossed pieces, because it is a little bit more stickier and more permanent. This is the Old Olive green, and that's cut at 1/2 inch by 12. So I'm going to put that down, and I'm showing the light side of the two-tone cardstock. And this is the same DSP as what I put above. Cut it 1/4 by 12, and then that's going to go right in the middle of the green to kind of just give it a little bit of oomph. I do like to use paper that has like a lot of gold or glitter, or you know, like a really pretty design. You will see that I tend to cut a lot of strips out of like the really prettiest paper, so that I can use that throughout all the layouts that I'm using with that suite, just to kind of tie everything together. And you saw I turned this around. That's because this is kind of has like a one direction look to me anyway. So I was just trying to get it so my flowers are right side up. So that is one thing when you're cutting the DSP, make sure if it has a certain dimension, that you're cutting it in the direction that you want it to show. Okay, so I'm going to kind of, remember we're duplicating, or close to duplicating what we did over here. So I am going to glue my 3x3 squares. And this is the two-tone black, and we're just going to kind of eyeball this. So here's my middle, 6 inches, and then I'm just going to kind of offset it roughly and put it up this way. So it's about 5.5 roughly. And I do tend to kind of eyeball things, so if that drives you crazy, certainly measure if you want it to be exact. So I'm putting it at roughly the 5.5. So then I'm going to put this at roughly 6.5, just to kind of give it even Steven spacing. And if you have like a T-square or something like that, which I do, but not everybody has one of those, and I want people to be able to do this on their own without using a lot of extra pieces to, you know, so you could just do it at home or with me in the class. So I do tend to eyeball things there. And the black, the two-tone black, as you can, oh, actually, sorry, this isn't black. This is Midnight Sea. So anyways, or Secret Sea, I should say. So that's really, really dark blue. So Secret Sea, 3x3. And same with, this is the reverse side of this. So even though this is traditional Christmas is the suite, you can obviously use this paper for outside of Christmas. I mean, even like the stamps, the poinsettia sure is Christmassy, but like the flowers could be almost any time of year. And I tend to keep one page more simple than the other, so the left page was the more elaborate. As you can see, this one is going pretty fast. So now we're going to do some clusters. And remember, when I stamped that, I said, don't worry, you're not really going to see it because this is going to get covered. The main point of this is to just have a little bit of the Secrecy stamped image showing up behind. So I did go over the Old Olive because we're using the light side, so I did go over some of the edging with a little, using the foam brush with the Old Olive ink. So it kind of gives it a little bit of two-tone look to it. So I'm going to create my cluster and layer this on here. So I'm going to kind of put just a little bit of my adhesive onto this. And this I cut out of the paper using the die. So this was on a sheet of paper. And that's what I like about Stampin' Up. They have lots of times the dies that coordinate on the suite you can cut out ephemera from the paper. And I'll show you how that looks in a second. So anyways, we're just building this cluster. And then I'm going to put the dimensionals to pop it. And let me grab that. So, and I want my dimensionals to kind of be right in the middle here. So I am actually going to put them on here instead of on there to make sure that I have it in the area that I want. So it's just kind of another little hint. And I'm going to just kind of put it right here. And then we'll remove the little backing. Now, you could also put some, don't remove the backing, but you could put some like here and here, but don't remove the backing because you want to be able to slide either your journaling or your picture right in between. So that's why I just did it that way. Okay, so we got that. Now let's see, we want to do, so this piece to replicate what we got going on over here, it's going to look like that. And then I need a little gold piece here. Actually, I'm going to put this one here. Ooh, did I not include? Oh, okay. I'm going to grab that piece. So I'll actually just open this so you can see what these look like. So this is the foiled frames. And you got, I think it's 2 sheets of each. So and I don't know if you're a saver, but sometimes I save these hard cardboard pieces because you can use them as like a base to make your own mini albums, or if you want like a frame. So let's see, we used kind of one of the more decorative. Here, let me just pull this out so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so you have 2 of each, and then you have multiple layers. Let's see, so then I'm going to take the one that's like that. Let's see, where is that one? Must be coming up. Yeah, it's at the bottom. So it's this piece here. Okay, so what I did is you punch out these pieces. Like that, okay? And then this punches out. So I used, I just trimmed and used, like, trim it here. I'm going to trim that, but I'm also going to show you another little trick. Kind of come down here. So I have room to. Now, I also have this piece I could use elsewhere. I could have put it here or anywhere else. I'm going to just put it to the side for now. But, and you could also use, you can see this piece, I kept the white there. So I didn't use the edging. So you can cut that right there to do that. Or you could even tuck it, use it as a tuck-in piece and bump this up and then have hidden journaling. So like a little pocket. But wait, I'm going to show you another little thing to get the most bang out of your buck here. So I'm going to pop this out. And so the piece next to this is more of a plain, you know, rounded rectangle. Doesn't have a fancy edge to it like this does. And then they share this section here. So I'm going to hand cut this out. So now I'm going to have even more pieces to be able to use. And then I'm going to leave the one on the right as is. I can use just like partial if I want, or whatever else, however else you want to do it. So you can see I'm just hand cutting it, and I'm trying to do it in the camera, so it's probably not going to be exactly perfect. It's kind of hard to do this when you're looking at it from this angle, but anyway, you can kind of get the hint, or the how I'm doing this. And then I'm just gonna actually I'm gonna go down just a little bit further, because then I'll have a bigger tail to tuck in. And then I'm gonna eyeball it, put that. So now I have yet another section. So anyway, so that is how I created all these little frames. I have, you know, these two, plus you have 2 in here. So really you have like 4 that are open with the gold edge, and then you have 2 with the white with it. So great way of using up all those little bitty pieces that you paid for. So anyway, so I'm going to do one here. Actually, I think I'm going to do the one that's slightly bigger, the outer edge here. And then I'll just tuck it in. And when I do my glue, when I do adhesive, I try and only do like kind of like towards the middle. I like to leave my edges kind of unglued so that I can do these kind of things, tuck things in last minute. Okay, so I'm going to get that down. I was just kind of playing with it, seeing. Oh, I think I'm going to trim it a little bit more, the little legs on it, so I don't have to tuck so much inside. There we go. And then I'm going to use my adhesive on here. And get that on there really good. So that's how I try and use as much of my pieces as possible on these frames, because you know, you paid for it, why not use it? So okay, I have a friend, one of her sayings is, "You bought it, so now use it." And I was watching her video, and when she said that, "You bought it, so now use it." So now my husband, he heard her, and now he says it all the time. Like if he buys something that he's like, "Ugh, don't really care for it, but I bought it, so now I'm using it." So Muriel, if you're listening, you're being followed by my husband, who is taking your advice, and so am I. So anyway, okay, so that can kind of go here. Actually, I think this looks kind of small, but I guess it is the same. It's just that I cut there. Okay, so I see this kind of gets looped in a little bit more. Doesn't have to be totally exact, but try and get it as close as possible, because this is going to be for other consultants to use. So there we go. So we got that. We got this piece here. Okay. Anytime I'm going to do journaling or like this, I could leave for journaling. I put it down as a flat piece. I don't use dimensionals, because it makes it hard to obviously write on if it has the dimensionals on there. So, but if you already did the writing and journaling, then by all means add dimensionals if you want to pop it. And then I am going to stamp that. Actually, I'll do that last. Let's just get everything glued down first. Okay, so I'm going to do this. And again, I use sandpaper, and then first I ran it through, first I cut it in the shape that I wanted. Then I ran it through the embossing folder. And then I sanded it to get the white core to show through, and then I lightly rubbed it with the Old Olive ink. So that's how I got all these, which is what I did on the first page as well. So, so we have 1, 2, so these sections. Let's see, where did those go? Oh, here they are. Okay. I'm gonna put this together here. Okay. So let's see. So this I'm gonna put here. And then I'm gonna put this pink, pretty in pink, kind of behind it a little bit. And this, so this DSP is this little tiny 1/4 inch one. So you can see more of it on this because it's a little bit bigger piece. And again, this is why I kind of lightly glue stuff down, because I'm always, you know, tucking things in that I would change my mind on. So there's that. And then you can see here, I kind of did a gold line to kind of tie it in. So I am going to shorten that up. So here I'm just trimming this here. And as you can see, I'm using like all these little pieces. So making use out of everything. And I'm going to squeeze this in a little bit more. Squeeze this in a little bit more. And then I'm going to make sure I have, yep, that. Just kind of trim it a little bit and glue it down. Okay, so we're going to just kind of give it just that little bit of edge there. Okay, there. So everything's done except for the winter is warmer when we're together. So I am going to kind of put this off to the side 1 second, and then I will stamp that. Okay, there we go. And there's my block, and that's in Cherry Cobbler. And let's see, it is from the oh, I gotta go get my stamp set. I'll be right back. Okay, so I put the Winter is Warmer when we're together, which, by the way, this came from the Snowflake Kisses stamp and bundle. So these, I love this bundle because the snowflakes are really cool, and you have lots of kind of cute sayings. So like this would be, you're one of a kind. That would have been a cute saying to put on there. If you don't want to have anything but winter, you could even do happy winter, or any of this, let it snow, would be cute for a layout. However, that's not part of this suite. So this is part of the suite. So you could just put Christmas if you wanted, or Merry, you have Merry there, or wishes, cheer, any of that would have worked too. I just was trying to coordinate a couple different things together for other consultants so that they have multiple things to market. But you know, if you want to use what came with the suite, I would certainly, any of those would work. So so I just lightly tap, and then I just try and eyeball it so that it's across the lines. Or you could even handwrite something, you know. You don't have to stamp, because you use it as a journaling spot. Maybe put the date of where all the images are from. So, all right, so we got that done. I'm going to bring this back. And then put this off to the side so I don't accidentally get ink on my stuff. And then I'm just going to pop this up with some dimensionals. And this, like I said, this piece that this saying I cut out from the Stylish Shapes, and it's the Memories and More cards that coordinate with this Christmas traditions. So, and actually I just did something that I told you guys not to do. So I'm going to put, I'm going to leave this adhesive covered, because you'll want to put, like, be able to slide your picture in there. And actually I could probably remove this one. So we're going to just leave that covered so that the person that gets this can slide a picture in there. See, like that. So you can always remove it later once you put your picture in, if it doesn't cover anything out. Or if you're going to use this as a journaling piece, you could put like another, you know, some white paper behind it. Even like use, you know, cut this and just kind of cut it there, and that would give you a good journaling piece to use. So however you wish to use it. Okay, so we got that. And actually, while I'm looking at my sample, I'm going to move this over just a little bit more so that we have more room to slide in the picture. So it goes just a little bit closer, so it's not covering so much of the picture. Okay, there we go. All right, so we are done other than gems. So I'm going to bring back the first page and we're going to do gems. Okay, so I like to kind of mix and match sometimes with my gems, especially if I'm doing multiple that is the same like this, to kind of get the colors to all stretch. So we're going to, these are the gems that came with the suite, and we're going to attach them. I'm going to use my Sharpie tool. Isn't this cute? A friend of mine, Muriel, made these for some of us 1 year, and I love it. I use it all the time. It's so pretty. So I'm going to attach that there. And you kind of try and do like a triangle effect with anything really. So I'm just going to kind of do a triangle effect and put these in different spots. And then the consultant, you know, if she wants to, or he wants to add more, they can on their own, but it at least kind of gives you a little triangle there. And then this is I'll put my original up so I can kind of duplicate. So I like to do the gems at the very, very end, because for one thing, if you made a mistake, like let's say there was a big splotch here, like this one here, I would probably cover that up with the gem. You wouldn't even notice. In fact, I might just do that. And then just to kind of get it so that it looks, you don't even notice that there is a splotch there. You know, when you have something that is a little imperfect, that's just another excuse to be able to add embellishments. So that's what we call these little gems. They're embellishments. They're like the you know, like the jewelry of the scrapbook game. So I'm just gonna kind of put stuff here, and then I put a big one, looks like, over here. And so let's see, 1, 2, and I am gonna put one here, like a little blue, I think. There. And maybe another one right there. I think we need something right there. Just the gold there. All right, so this is done. You got this 2-page layout, but like I said, I like to make these so that you can certainly use it as like the beginning of an album, the first page, and then this could be the end on its own. And then the whole in between could be, you know, coordinating pages to go with it. So you don't have to keep it as a 2-page layout if you don't want to, but you obviously have that option to do so. So it all kind of coordinates together. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this, and please hit like and follow if you liked listening to this and watching it. And like I said, this is kind of how my classes go. So in person, if you are local, if you would like to attend a class, leave a comment or send me a personal message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can to give you the lowdown as to when this class is going to be offered. Right now I'm looking at possibly November 15th, around that time frame, but I'm waiting to see if I can get the venue. And if that doesn't work, then I will do it at my house that weekend, probably that Sunday, and I can have maybe 8 people max to kind of do it here. And I might do a couple classes here at my house then to accommodate. So I might do like a Sunday and then maybe a afternoon or evening one in December. So stay tuned. I'll put once I finalize the dates, I'll put them in my comments on this video so you can take a look. And I do not do instructions as far as I don't have like PDFs that I can send you with instructions, but I kind of told you the measurements in here, and you can kind of get a feel for how this works if you just follow along with my class teaching. All right, thanks again. Talk to you soon. Bye.